It's all happening. Hey, what's up, YouTubers? It's podcast episode 31 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast. I'm here. Dave Knittel, Christian and Matt are over there laying on Christian's bed in his bedroom. Matt's got a fidget spinner and I believe is also shirtless. So we got a wacky podcast coming up here.
Only a couple more episodes in this room for me.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, very, very true. Christian's moving out soon. I got on my Orlando City scarf from when they were back in USL days. They got a different logo on here. They got a match later on tonight, so that's why I'm rocking this.
Traitor. Boo.
Yeah, I had on a Mexico scarf for like half a second. I was like, I can't wear this because they just won in Confederations Cup, and I just couldn't do it. But that's okay. That's okay. I got this on, and we'll see. I couldn't put on DC. DC was the other one that I was torn between, and can't do that, obviously. All right. You guys good to start the recording that will, the audio podcast portion?
Nah.
Okay. Matt, how about you?
No.
Okay.
He left.
Yeah, I see that. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 31 of the Bros Talking Soccer podcast, brought to you by Fan Futsal. My name is Dave Knittel, and I'm here with my brothers Christian and Matt to discuss stories from around the soccer world. Christian, how's it going?
I'm doing great, Dave. Not much is going on over here for me. Played 4 hours of soccer last night, so I'm feeling pretty sore. Other than that, pretty typical. How about you and Matt?
I'm doing well. That was a weird way to ask that question. I'm doing well. Can't complain. I stayed home today. Worked from the house. Watched some Confederations Cup. So overall, pretty good day. Matt, how are things?
Things are well, Dave and Christian. Thanks for asking, both of you. Things are just going peachy for me.
That's good. Matt's got a fidget spinner that he's playing with. Hopefully he doesn't knock out Christian's eye or something like that, or his own eye, So hopefully we can be safe. Christian, do you have our trivia question for this week?
Dave, you believe it or not, I actually do this week.
That's good.
It's pretty great. Yeah. 2 weeks in a row. I'm killing it.
Yeah.
All right. So are you ready?
I'm ready. I was born ready. Yep.
Matt, you ready? All right.
Okay.
So here we go. Who in all of the football league in England scored the most points in the league this season? In their league specifically.
So of the four divisions?
Points overall. Yeah, of the four divisions.
Four professional divisions.
Yes.
Okay.
And how many points was it?
Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm assuming it's going to be a lower level team just because they play more games. So I don't know the answer. Could be. Listeners, will let you figure it out for yourself, and we'll think it over, and Christian will give us the answer at the end. Real quick, before we get into our topics this week, let me tell you about Fan Futsal, and I got a new write-up here, so get excited. So what is Fan Futsal, you ask? Well, Fan Futsal is a different fantasy soccer experience where you select 5 clubs instead of 8 to 11 individual players for your weekly fantasy teams. You then arrange these clubs into a formation and give them positions with which emphasize different scoring attributes. The only scoring elements in our game are goals scored, goals conceded, and the result of the match. It's that simple. Pick 5 teams, complete your lineup, then sit back and follow match scores. We have games going on right now for MLS, plus we'll have Liga MX and the Big 5 Euro Leagues when they start back up again later this summer. It's different than any fantasy soccer game you've played before, and since the games are weekly, there's no long commitment. What's stopping you from giving it a try today? It only takes a few seconds to sign up, so join now. Start playing at FanFutsal, FanFutsal.com today. And with that, let's get into our first segment here. Real quick, before I get into our topics, the U.S. soccer community lost Tony DeCicco this week. He was the U.S. women's national team coach between 94 and 99, saw them win a gold medal and the infamous penalty shootout World Cup victory over China in 1999. That's probably my earliest memory of watching soccer on TV. He won almost 90% of his matches, and so just wanted to offer our condolences to his family. He was, a true pioneer in U.S. soccer. Let's switch gears real quick to Europe and talk about the Cristiano Ronaldo situation. So for those of you that may not know, Cristiano Ronaldo is in some tax fraud allegations with the Spanish government, and it is rumored that he wants to leave Real Madrid. Christian, do you think he will actually leave Real Madrid this summer?
Do I think he will? No. I mean, his buyout clause is $1 billion. Is it euros? Probably $1 billion euros. Something ridiculous.
Yeah, something ridiculous.
Yeah. So they are really in no rush to sell him. I wouldn't be. He's obviously their star man. But as a person who likes Barca, I'd love to see him leave. He's very, very talented, but I just can't see it happening. And United just said they're not going for him. So other than PSG, I don't know where he would go at this time.
MLS. Matt, what about you? Do you think he actually leaves this summer?
I think he actually might. And if this happens every summer where something happens, like Messi and Ronaldo are almost leaving, according to reports. This happens almost every summer, but I feel like Ronaldo might actually be fed up with just Spain, and his tax allegations. I'm not sure. I'm not saying he did or did not, hide money.
Just so we're not sued by Ronaldo's team.
Yeah. I just think he might be fed up with the situation. And I could see him going to PSG. I feel like he would be very marketable in PSG, or in Paris.
He's marketable wherever he goes.
Because I don't know, he just he reminds me of a guy that would be in Paris with all his modeling and his underwear line. I feel like he would be more marketable. This is serious. I feel like he would flourish more in Paris
or Milan.
Yeah, that's a good. Exactly. So Milan's not getting him, but yeah, that's actually an interesting point. I think that I heard a conspiracy that this is actually coming from Ronaldo's team to try to force a move away, in the sense of so he doesn't just peter out. Because I mean, he's 32. He takes really good care of his body, but this was I think the fewest games that he's played ever in his career, and it's just going to keep getting less because Father Time wins every time, so rather than kind of puttering out at the end of his career at Real Madrid, because they're going to have better players, does it make sense to cash in both from his perspective, but also for Real? If he sees out his contract, they're not going to get a dime in transfer fees. Yeah, they'll get sponsorship and everything that goes along with having Ronaldo and his brand, but I think now might be the right time to have him leave, and I think probably PSG is the only realistic destination.
Yeah, I was hearing that possibly he goes to China, which I think would be hilarious because they're not in FIFA and he's on the cover. I just think that would be so funny, and I would love to see what happens, and I would love the chaos that ensues.
They would have to put him in the game.
Yeah, well, no, they would. So they sometimes add teams from around the world. So I guarantee that they would add whatever team he goes to. They would add them. But also, I don't think there's any way he goes to China. They're implementing all kinds of strict regulations on spending. They're reducing the number of foreign players to try to cut down on that overspend. So I would be absolutely shocked if he ends up going to China.
I agree.
Matt, anything else to add?
Nope.
No, Christian? What was that?
Nope, that's all I got.
Okay. All right, let's stick with stars wanting transfers and go over to AC Milan, where their young star goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma is rumored to be refusing a contract extension with AC Milan. He's getting absolutely crushed by the AC Milan fans for this decision. Matt, how do you see this kind of coming to a resolution?
Well, I think they should sell him immediately, or not within the next couple weeks. I think they should move on from him and use the money they're going to get, because they're going to get a lot of money for him. And I know they just have, I think, Chinese billionaires bought AC Milan, right? Yeah. So they are spending a lot right now, but they can spend even more when they sell Donnarumma, and his contract expires next year. I don't blame him for not wanting to play for Milan, especially because he's done so much and they have still not really performed to the level like he should be playing at. And I think he knows that a team like maybe Real Madrid might be looking for a goalie, or one of the the premier teams in the world.
Yeah, I mean, but he is only 18, and basically the club's been up for sale for the last 2 years. So since he broke through, they haven't really been investing because they've been looking to be sold. And they were just recently sold to a Chinese consortium who apparently took like a huge loan from a pretty shady company in order to get it done. So Donnarumma's agent, Mino Raiola, is kind of citing the fact that there's instability in AC Milan and in their future ability to spend as kind of another reason why he wants to get out of there. Christian, what are your thoughts on this situation? How do you see it kind of playing out?
I think he's going to leave this summer. It only makes sense, especially because he said he will not sign a new contract, and with only a year left, they need to cash in now. But in a couple of years, I really think that he's going to regret the way he handled this. I know his agent is really the one behind it, and this guy has been, what's the word? He's been behind a lot of stuff like this in the past, and it drives me crazy, but it's the way he operates, and he gets his clients to where they want to be and makes them a lot of money. So it is his job to do that, but I think he's going to regret the way he leaves AC Milan, especially as an Italian. They gave him his chance. They believed in him, and he's going to probably be the best goalie in the world within 10 years. And it's sad that it's going to happen this way, but he's got to do what he's got to do, and AC Milan have to do what they have to do.
I actually think he stays and signs a new contract with some favorable release clauses because I know that that's being rumored too. So I actually think that he doesn't get sold this summer just because I think it would put AC Milan in a bad position with like from a player power perspective. It would look like they couldn't control their players or they couldn't kind of influence their players to stay. And so I think that they're going to find a resolution to get him to sign a contract and probably sell him like next summer or something like that, just for the appearance of, oh, we save face. So I think that's how I see this playing out.
So it's kind of like the Suarez situation at Liverpool. They gave him a new contract and sell him the next year.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it playing out. Yeah, so that's what I think. So let's stick in Italy, but head over to Crotone, who was in Serie A for the first time ever this past season. They had a manager who promised to ride his bike about 800 miles if they avoided relegation. I think Crotone is in the south and ride it up north, or vice versa. I don't really know exactly which way he rode. I just know it was 800 miles. So they avoided relegation, and he honored his promise. Christian, how much of motivation do you think that actually provided the team, just knowing that their coach would have to fulfill this promise?
I think it's awesome. And I feel like in the past, a lot of coaches make these promises and they kind of die out and the coaches don't fulfill their obligations. But I feel like a lot of the fans and even the players probably are really pumped up and like they feel almost a sense of pride in the fact that they can believe in their coach. He believes in their team, so we're going to play for him. He's going to live up to what he promises, and it's amazing, really.
Yeah. You broke up a little bit, but I think we got most of what you were saying there. Matt, what about you? How much of him making kind of that promise do you think provided the motivation for the team to avoid relegation?
I don't know if it was much motivation to the season, but after the season, I feel like he got a lot more respect from the players. I think because even if the promise was there or not, if a lot of coaches make them, they're not really good for it until after the season's over anyway. So I feel like it may have been a camaraderie thing after the season. And I think it's good for the coaches and the team's culture, but I don't think it was too much of motivation.
So I actually think it is a motivation because if you come in and you're a professional, you come in to do your job, and obviously your job is to win, and so that is intrinsic, motivation to do well. But any sort of edge you can provide that kind of takes the focus off of solely just your job and provide motivation to get people, and any just little edge could provide a factor. And so I actually really like when coaches and managers and people do these things to provide an additional incentive that kind of gets people motivated, and it's almost like gamification, to use a tech term, where it's getting people working towards something, outside of just what their kind of core functionality they're doing, and so I kind of like it. I think it's an interesting kind of motivation tactic. I think it's awesome that he honored the promise, and so good on him.
I think it's kind of that coaches usually do this, and like people such as the fans look at this as, oh, that's funny. Like he really, he made that joke. It kind of sounds like a joke when they're like, oh, I'll ride from here to here. Okay. Because he clearly doesn't like believe. I get it almost comes off as he doesn't actually believe they're going to stay up. So he's not ever going to have to do it. So he's making kind of a promise that like, oh, if we really exceed expectations, I'll do this. So people look at it as, oh, that's kind of funny. But the fact that he actually did it just proves that, okay, I can respect this guy. It wasn't a joke. He was serious.
Yeah, absolutely. And amateur hour for me, I probably should have written his name down, but I didn't. Oh, David A. Nicola. I think it's in the URL there. So good on him. Wanted to give him a shout out as well. Okay, with that brings us to the end of segment 1 here, but fear not. We have 2 more segments to come right after this short musical break. Stick with us. Cool. You guys still good?
Nah.
Yeah.
Get the lineup up.
Yeah. No. Where'd it go? It disappeared.
Yeah. It's a nice fidget spinner.
Okay, I'm ready.
You all right? Just finding the lineup.
We got it.
You got it? Okay. All right. Ready to go?
Yes!
Welcome back, listeners, to segment 2 here. This is our Bros Talking Soccer fan futsal game this week, and we had MLS clubs, or what we used for the game. So we had a pretty low-scoring week overall. Yours truly came in first with 63 points. Christian came in third overall, second out of the brothers with 45 points. Matt came in fifth overall, and last out of us brothers with 39 points. Matt, what happened?
On paper, I thought my team was supposed to be really good this week.
Game's not played on paper.
Yeah.
Is it played electronically?
It's played online.
Yeah, not paper though. Not paper.
Paperless company.
Yeah, we're paperless.
Okay, yeah. So Chicago Fire, they've been doing. I'm pretty sure they cooled off a little bit, right?
Yeah, they got extinguished.
No, they've been killing it. Yeah, no, they haven't cooled off at all.
Okay, well,
it was a good joke.
I guess I'm wrong there. But Chicago Fire, they were doing pretty well this season. Bastian Schweinsteiger there has made them a real contender of a club, one of the powerhouses with his talents. The Union, I just trusted them because I know you guys always trust the Union.
Yeah.
So I have some faith in you guys. LA, with all the star power they have, I always kind of tend to pick LA. They had a 2-2 draw at goalkeeper. That didn't help me out. And the Union lost 2-0 at defense. That also didn't help me out. Yeah. I keep picking them, and every time I pick them, they lose. So I think I'm done picking them. And Toronto, they did their job, as always.
Yeah, Toronto's killing it. Christian, all right, what happened with your lineup this week?
So I made the fatal error of trusting the Union again. I went to the game. It was an atrocity, and I just,
But to keep it in perspective.
I just want to throw shit at their fans.
Okay.
So I went with the old. What did I go with? The two. No, I went with a 3-1 this week. I was hoping for
Three
a
defenders.
lot of defensive stops here, and I didn't get it. I did not get it.
Yeah, that's
No,
bold in MLS. There's not a ton of defense, generally speaking, in MLS.
but I feel like there's not a lot of goals either, so I don't really know.
Oh, there's a decent amount of goals.
No, I don't think you're right.
Okay.
So up front, I put Toronto. Matt has the fidget spinner in his mouth currently.
That's fine. Okay, focus.
Toronto,
Get back on task.
up front, a 2-0 win. I mean, not ideal, but better than not, I guess. Union on defense, 0-2. I don't know why I said it that way. They lost 2-0. Not the best there either. LA, I also had in goal, so it matched Matt twice there.
And Toronto.
And the Toronto up front, yeah. So the only two differences I had from Matt were Orlando and Real Salt Lake this week.
You guys cheating off each other?
I put Orlando. Don't ask questions. Orlando tied 3-3. I wish I put them up front. That would have been much better. Seeing a 3-3 draw with Montreal is painful after what I witnessed earlier in the season at Talon Energy Stadium. But we're going to move along from that one. And Real Salt Lake finally got their act together a little bit there and got a 1-0 win at home against Minnesota. So that was really probably the only big choice that I made that worked out.
Got it. Okay, so that leaves myself. And so I'm actually working on, I was telling you guys about this before we started recording, but I'm working on an algorithm for fan futsal users in the future to help them predict their lineups and things like that. So this was the first week I tried it with MLS teams, and lo and behold, I came in first. So the lineup told me to play a 1-3 formation, which is 1 defender and 3 strikers. I put San Jose at goalkeeper. They got me a 0-0 shutout, which is perfectly fine from a goalkeeper. Nice start to the 19 points right there. They told me to pick the Union, and I think I was in good shape until they got the red card, and which ultimately led to the downfall. But I had the Union at defense, losing 2-0, only got me 2 points. But then my front three were Toronto, Atlanta, and New England combined. They scored 6 goals, got me, quick math, I don't know, 30, 43 points or so. And ultimately that kind of carried me through for a victory this week. So we will be doing MLS again this weekend on Fan Futsal. So all the listeners out there, feel free to join, play the game, and look for us on there. My username is dknits11. Christian's is cknittle12, and Matt's is mpk8110. We hope to see you in the game this week. Time for one more quick break, and then we are moving on to our last segment. Stick around. What are you guys doing over there?
It's 42 points.
42? That was close. Yeah, thanks for correcting me.
Yeah, close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah. Are you guys good to keep going?
Yes.
All right. Welcome back. And let's get into our last segment here, our last 3 topics. First one, starting off with Sepp Blatter. And according to an interview he did with The Guardian recently, he does not agree with whistleblowing, meaning like the corporate, whistleblowing. He basically compared it to tattletaling in elementary school. Matt, what do you think on that perspective?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the only option he has to blame at this point. It's epitome of his downfall as the FIFA president. So, I mean, if you are going to go down, you might as well go down complaining and making a big deal about it. So, I think it's ridiculous, but I mean, I guess he does have a point that's why he did get kicked out.
Before we move on here, I just want to give Matt a real props there for using epitome correctly.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. He's smart. He goes to college. Christian, what are your thoughts on that kind of perspective on whistleblowing?
Guy's an idiot. I don't know what he's talking about. Yeah, I mean, technically, it's annoying when people call you out, but you did something wrong, and you deserve to be
It's
punished.
not annoying. It's illegal. Like, keep going.
I mean,
Keep going.
no, what he did was illegal.
Yeah.
Are you saying that it's illegal for you to tell on somebody for doing something illegal?
No, what I'm saying is generally
That's
when whistleblowing happens, it's not for something that's annoying. It's generally something that there's a legitimate reason that
no,
somebody should be calling it
it's
out.
annoying from his perspective because he got caught. So he's
Yeah.
annoyed that someone tapped on him, but you're an idiot. You were the one taking bribes. You're the one not controlling your organization.
He actually
That's
never
on
took
you.
bribes. At least nothing has been proven
But,
from his perspective. Just to make that clear.
yeah, but I don't believe that. I still believe he was in some shady shit there. So.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Thank you, Matt. That's our resident lawyer, Matt Knittel there. Thanks for that.
You're welcome, Dave.
Thanks. Christian, all right. Are you?
You can go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think he's, at this point, like Matt was saying, he's just kind of grasping at straws. Clearly, whistleblowing has a place in the world and needs to be there because otherwise just, rampant fraud, rampant corruption could go on. And so there's definitely a place that needs to be there. He also said he shouldn't be responsible, or he shouldn't be the sole one responsible for the FIFA corruption scandal, and he feels like he's being persecuted as the reason. He was, I should say, the leader of that organization for 20 years. That's what he signed up to be. The culture of an organization is basically what the culture of the people at the top are. And so the fact that corruption and fraud and all that permeated through FIFA's culture directly rests at him and the executives that were running FIFA. So I think I'm glad he's out of the game. I hope that there's change in FIFA. I am still very, very skeptical of that because it seems like kind of the same crowd is still in power. And it's going to be a long, slow process, but hopefully that can change.
Yeah, it makes me think of, like Enron and stuff like that, where corruption was existing in the financial sectors. And the people at the top are the ones really responsible, but the whole company gets blamed. It's a similar thing with FIFA.
And that's where that's where whistleblowing really started to come to the forefront. And I think that's where that term came from. And there were rules and legislation established so that whistleblowers couldn't be retaliated on as a result of those scandals, those financial scandals that happened.
And that's how it should be, because you are actively trying to give someone else a disadvantage or trying to give someone else an advantage where it's not technically legal or deserved. So that should not be that way. And the whistleblowers should not be punished for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what he was just saying is that people shouldn't even they shouldn't have said anything. It's basically like ratting out or tattletaling, which is something ridiculous for a leader to say. And it's completely just terrible thinking from somebody who was supposed to be in charge of a nonprofit organization that was supposed to do, good for the game around the world. So happy to see him out of power. Let's talk about, I guess, a segment of FIFA, the IFAB, which is basically the International Soccer Rules Committee, which is technically not affiliated with FIFA, but they work very, very closely together. But they have some very radical rule changes that they are proposing. And I'm going to rattle them off, and we're going to quick give our opinions on them. There's about 8 or so here that they're proposing. So first one, and Matt, I'll go to you first. So reduction of game time from 90 minutes continuous clock, which is how soccer is run right now, to 60 minutes, but the clock stops when there's a stoppage of play. Matt, do you like that rule?
No.
Okay, and like 10 seconds, why not?
Okay. I think the game is a game of endurance, and it's a free-flowing game. If you're stopping the clock, I feel like people are going to take advantage of that. While the clock is stopped, it's harder to, call delay of games.
Good. Christian, what about you?
I don't like it. It's fine the way it is, and there's no reason to change it with the time in the game.
I agree. I don't think that there's a reason to change it. I'm very worried about the commercial aspect. Are they going to start trying to have advertisements during the stoppages and whatnot? That scares me kind of the most about it. I do think that they're onto something with trying to reduce kind of wasting of time. If they can figure out a different way to do that, that'd be good. All right, second rule. Players are allowed to take free kicks and corner kicks themselves, so they could basically just dribble the ball back into play themselves. Christian, do you like that rule?
No, I definitely don't like that. I feel like the ball has to be, when there's a stoppage of play, the ball has to touch someone else before you can touch it again. That makes sense to me, and changing that rule is just going to cause chaos and kind of make the game disjointed.
Okay. Matt, what about you?
I think that chaos would be very entertaining. You would have to be on your toes at all times. You wouldn't be able to argue with the ref over calls. There wouldn't be stoppages like that because you could always just run by the person. So I think that would be better for the game.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't like it, but I'm definitely more open to it than the first rule that we talked about. It's just hard for me to wrap my mind around how much the game would change if that's the case. So I don't like it, but I'm not completely opposed to it, and I could be talked into liking that one. All right, next one. Free kicks could be taken with a moving ball. Right now, the ball has to be stationary before a free kick can be taken. So proposed rule that the ball could actually be moving. Matt, what do you think about this rule?
So you never have to set it. Like when goalies, you know how they throw their 6 kicks, goal kicks out.
Yeah, that's my understanding.
If it's moving now, that means somebody had to touch it further up in the field, which means it's in play already anyways.
No, but if it's a free kick and they roll
it.
Yeah, but if they roll it to themselves and then kick it, or put backspin on it so it spins back to them.
I don't like it.
Okay. Christian, what about you?
It's the same with the last one. If there's a stoppage in play, the ball has to be stopped before it can start again. I don't agree that rule should be put in place.
Okay, I'm curious. So I'm gonna say, just for argument's sake, I like it. I'd be curious to see, because the ball definitely moves different when you hit a stationary ball versus a moving ball, whether it's rolling forward or back at you. So I think you get more variation on kind of the kicks, and I don't know. I'd be curious, and I don't think it would change too much of the game as it exists right now. Okay, next one is penalties would be awarded if a ball is played back from a team to their goalkeeper and the goalkeeper picks it up. Currently, that's an indirect free kick, so this would be changed to be a direct free kick, therefore a penalty. Christian, what do you think about the rule?
This one I'm okay with. I feel like this is pretty simple rule. It rarely happens in the game, and even when it does, it's deemed not a back pass, and I think it would just be even more so if it became a penalty decision. So this won't change very much, and I would be okay with this one.
Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I like this one. To be honest, I don't understand why it's an indirect kick now. A handball from a defender is a penalty in the box. Handballs are direct kicks, so I don't get why the goalie illegally touching the ball with his hand isn't also a direct kick.
Fair enough. I'll stick with that too. I'm a little bit hesitant because sometimes back passes can come off deflections and there's still a little bit of confusion on what exactly is a back pass. So it could be harsh to award a penalty for that, but goalkeepers just have to not take chances then. And I think it would create more confusion and chaos in the game, which I think would be a good thing. Excuse me. All right. Next one is a penalty goal would be awarded if a player commits a handball kind of near the goal line. So ball is going in, like Suarez against, I believe it was Ghana in the last World Cup, or maybe it was 2 World Cups ago, where he committed a handball on the line, got a red card for it, but then Ghana missed their penalty kick. Instead of that happening, Ghana would just been awarded a goal. Matt, what do you think about that rule?
I don't like that. I think if the red card does it's suitable, you get a penalty kick out of it. So if that's you know how they got rid of the double whammy, or was it double or triple whammy?
Yeah, triple penalty.
Yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, red card. So denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity with results in a penalty, a red card, and a penalty kick.
Yeah, so I feel like that rule in place, or did they get rid of that
They got rid of
in the
it
Premier League?
no, they got rid of it if a player makes an honest attempt at the ball. If you just tackle a guy, like not going for the ball whatsoever, just trying to just knock him down and prevent a goal scoring opportunity, that's still a red. But if you make an honest attempt at the ball and, just don't get it, then it's not a red anymore.
Yeah, then I'm still fine with it not being counted as a goal because you're getting the red card anyway if you purposely handball it. And then your team also has to play the rest of the game like down like that. And I feel like it's still an advantage that doesn't need to be changed.
Okay, Christian, what about you?
I think that the way it is now perfectly makes sense. It is a suspension. You're playing down a man for the rest of the game, and you get an easy chance. I mean, I consider a penalty shot an easy chance for you to score. And the ball did not go in the net, so it should not just be given to you.
Okay, I agree too. So next one, teams will be docked points in the table for mobbing referees. So you see this all the time. Referee makes a call. Everybody on the one team or another crowds the referee trying to influence his decision. So proposal that teams would actually be docked points for doing that. Christian, what do you think about this rule?
I feel like that's way too difficult to track. I feel like it wouldn't fairly be kept up with. I feel like a lot of teams would get away with that versus other teams, and it just doesn't seem like it would work overall. And deducting points becomes a whole other issue.
Matt, what about you? What do you think of it?
I'm fine with it. I mean, I hate when people swarm the refs. I've talked about that a lot in other podcasts, but yeah, I hate when people swarm the refs, and I'd be fine with a rule being in place to penalize those offenders.
I'm with Matt on that one. Next rule, defenders will be allowed to touch the ball in the penalty area from a goal kick. Right now, there's a goal kick or any defensive free kick in an opponent's or in a defending team's own box. The ball needs to exit the penalty box before anybody can touch it on the defending team. So that would change to be, or I guess it would be attacking team, whatever it is. So the team that has the ball that's taking the kick in their own penalty area could have somebody else on their team actually touch it in the penalty area. What do you think about that rule? I think, Matt, you're first.
I hate this rule because I know Pep Guardiola would start every single one of his attacks with the defender in the box. So I know this is not going to end well in the future. So I do not like this rule.
Okay, Christian, what do you think about the rule?
I'm very happy, and I would love to see this rule. Yeah, it allows that easy pass, but it also will not give them an easy out when you try and make that pass, and then they just walk into the box so that it has to get retaken right now. A lot of defenders do that if they're under pressure. So that will get rid of that part, and it would force you to be under pressure or clear the ball.
Yeah, I'm with Christian here. I actually like this rule. I think it would create an interesting dynamic, and it would encourage more possession, or at least possession in riskier places, which would lead to more opportunities, which I'm all for. Last one, penalty kick will result in a stoppage no matter if it goes in or not. So right now, if a penalty is saved, that ball is live if it's still in play. There's a proposal to say that if it's saved, that basically would just result in a goal kick. Christian, what do you think about that?
No, the ball is live when the ball is kicked. It does not need to be a goal kick. There should be no stoppage. And a lot of chances come from after the saves, the second chance. So I'm fine with the way it is now.
Yeah, and so this was designed to kind of prevent encroachment. So basically people wouldn't encroach, and that's kind of a way to prevent that. That's their thought on it. Matt, what do you think about this?
I'm confused. I was like, you just confused me there with the encroachment. Did Christian say anything about encroachment?
No. But I wanted to get that out because I didn't say it before. So the logic behind Christian was talking about how the ball's live and a lot of goals result from that. But there's also goals result or just plays happen where there's encroachment that happens and players are running into the box. And there's, controversy a lot of times with referees calling encroachment versus not calling encroachment. And so, sometimes they call it, other times they don't, and it's kind of inconsistent. So that's what they're, I think, trying to get at from this perspective. So I just wanted to throw that little caveat out there. So sorry for confusion.
That makes sense. All right. So if the ball hits the post, is that because it wasn't saved? Is it live after that? Or
no, it would just always, so if it doesn't go in, it's dead ball.
No, I don't like it then.
Okay.
I think it's on the referees to make a decision if there's encroachment. It should not be up to a rule in the game that if the ball is saved or it's not. I don't agree with this decision.
Okay, I'm with you guys as well. So those are our thoughts and perspective. Let us know your thoughts. Send us emails or tweets or whatnot about it. Well, our email is bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is @BTSoccerPod. So let us know your thoughts on those rules. All right, let's go on to our last topic here, the Confederations Cup. And for those of you that may not know, Confederations Cup is going on right now in Russia. Fox is hosting it in America, so it's all over Fox Sports 1. Like I said, I stayed home today, watched it, and I'm enjoying the coverage. It's a little mini tournament, little mini World Cup. So it's a recurring tournament that takes place the year before the World Cup, where champions of each of the confederations, the World Cup champion, and then the host nation compete in an 8-team tournament, and it serves as a test run for the nation before they host the World Cup in the subsequent years. There's rumors that this could be the last ever Confederations Cup. Christian, what do you think kind of the future of the tournament should be? Should it be a tournament like the Club World Cup, so just have club teams from all the different confederations? Should it be, I've heard all-star teams mentioned, so like an all-Europe team, an all-North American team, so on and so forth. What do you kind of think this should be?
This is a weird question. I really am not a huge fan of the Confederations Cup. A lot of the teams don't even bring their top squads, as you've seen with Germany's team. I don't know what the hell that is, but that is not
talent.
Germany.
Yeah, they have enough talent though to compete still.
They do. I'd rather see the top level kind of showing at these tournaments, and I would like to see maybe the Club World Cup being hosted there, or depending where it is, whatever confederation it is, maybe you have all your Champions League games there for a season before the World Cup and just test it out. Each confederation kind of has their own Champions League, so they might as well try that, and it'll test out the stadiums.
That's an interesting concept. I think that might be a little bit unfair for teams that are closer to that host nation versus further away and so on and so forth. So I think that may be a little bit tougher to execute, but that's a really interesting thought. I hadn't even thought about that. So that's an interesting concept. Matt, what about you? What do you think the future of the tournament should be? Do you like it the way it is? What changes do you want to see?
Well, first off, you told me you couldn't play pro clubs earlier because you were going to work, and then you said you stayed home and watched Confederations.
I was working while I watched Confederations Cup, Matt. Watching Confederations Cup is working for me, all right? I have a thriving fantasy soccer website.
Okay, just had to double check. Yeah, so I like the idea of the Confederations Cup, but I just feel like people don't care about it enough. If there is a way, like I don't have a specific plan in place, but I feel like the tournament could be successful if teams just cared or if it meant more.
Agreed. So I kind of I like so I'm kind of in the same exact camp that you're in, and honestly, it's the same as the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup conceptually is so cool. The Champions League champions of each confederation gets together somewhere in the world and competes against each other. It's the European teams that just kind of poo-poo it, and a lot of the other confederations take it seriously. The Club World Cup, and it's kind of the same thing in the Confederations Cup, but if those tournaments could be taken more seriously, I think it would just be awesome. And I don't have a solution right now. I don't know if it's just throwing more money at it. Prestige honestly just comes with time, and both those competitions are relatively newer than a lot of the other competitions out there. And so, does each organizing committee just need to push through this transitional period and just keep it going so that 20, 30 years from now, it has prestige? I don't know. But I like it kind of as it exists right now.
Okay.
Cool. Christian, anything else you wanted to mention about that, or any other topics before we get to our trivia answer?
So it looks like Dani Alves was released by Juventus today, and he's going to Man City. And I don't know what this guy is doing and why Barcelona let him leave, because that was stupid. But I think he's still good enough that he's going to make an impact.
Okay. Matt, anything else you wanted to add?
I'm happy that Dani Alves canceled
All right, cool. I don't have anything else to add this week. Christian, do you have what?
I have another one.
Go ahead.
I saw that Di Maria and Mourinho both were charged of tax
And
allegations
James
too, so I just going all good.
Yeah, James was charged as well. James Rodriguez was charged today too.
The single greatest witch.
The what?
What Trump calls it, the single greatest witch hunt in media history.
All right, Christian. Christian, you want to recap our trivia question?
I would love to, Dave. Thanks for giving me the spotlight here.
Of course.
All right, so our
take it and run with it.
Our trivia question this week is: of all the teams in the Football League, all top 4 divisions in England, which team scored the most points during their championship-winning league campaign, and how many goals did they score?
And how many goals?
Oh my God! And how many goals did they score?
Then the other one.
this is going to be tough. Matt, do you have any guesses, or do you want me to go first?
So I don't even know who won League 1 and 2, but I'm going to take a wide guess. Notts County.
How many goals?
100. No. Hold up. No, teams don't score 100 goals. Hold on. Let me think. 91.
Okay.
Yeah. So the lower level teams in England, I'm going to talk you through my thought process. So I don't think Chelsea was it because they only play 38 games. Lower level teams play 46 games. I know Newcastle won in the championship. I think they were in the 90s with points that they accumulated. And I don't know who won League 1 or League 2. Wild shot in the dark. I don't think that they won, but I'm going to say Plymouth Argyle because I like that team name. And how many points did they have? 99 points is what I'm going to go with. And how many goals did they?
15 goals. I just meant points. That's my bad.
Say again. You broke up a little bit there. What was that?
I just meant points, not goals. I messed that one up. Sorry.
Okay. Okay, so my guess was 99 points, Plymouth Argyle. Matt, what was yours again? Notts County, 91 points?
Did you see that?
No.
Okay.
I have no idea what I said, actually. Notts County.
You said 91 goals, but what do you want for points?
Oh, okay. Points, like 101.
Okay. What was the answer, Christian? Drum roll.
The points is 100, which is funny because you said 99 and he said 101.
Damn it.
It's 100 even. And our League 1 champion, Sheffield United.
Damn, I knew that.
Second in League 1 was Bolton, just so you know.
Oh, good. Bolton's coming back to the championship. Good, nice.
They didn't do well in my career.
Nice bounce back. I got Portsmouth in championship right now. We're rolling it. Just signed Kylian Mbappe for £7 million this summer, and that's obviously very different than the real world. But pretty excited about that. Okay, we will have links to all the stories we discussed in the show today in the show notes, as well as we'll tweet them out from our Twitter handle, which, as I've mentioned before, is @BTSoccerPod. Our email is bros.talking.soccer@gmail.com. Send us anything and everything you want. Everything was brought to you by FanFutsal, FanFutsal.com. Christian's throwing balls at the iPad that they're recording on. Christian and Matt, thanks for being here. Thanks for being focused and paying attention throughout the whole thing. And listeners, thank you all for giving us a listen this week. We will talk to you next week. See you, everyone. Bye. All right.
Bye.
Nice.